Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. CIS Paper 1.2. Question 1. Which of the following statements is or are most correct? A. Compensating managers with stock can reduce the agency problem between shareholders and managers. B. Restrictions are included in credit agreements to protect bondholders from the agency problem that exists between bondholders and shareholders. C. The threat of a takeover can reduce the agency problem between bondholder and shareholders. D. A and B, above. The most correct answer is D. A and B, above. A. Compensating managers with stock can reduce the agency problem between shareholders and managers. Correct. The agency problem arises when managers prioritize their own interests over those of shareholders. Stock-based compensation aligns managers' interests with those of shareholders, as managers benefit directly from increasing stock prices. B. Restrictions are included in credit agreements to protect bondholders from the agency problem that exists between bondholders and shareholders. Correct. Bondholders face an agency problem when shareholders, via management, engage in riskier activities that could benefit shareholders at the expense of bondholders. Lenders mitigate this by including covenants in loan agreements, such as limits on additional debt or dividend payments. C. The threat of a takeover can reduce the agency problem between bondholders and shareholders. Incorrect. The threat of a takeover primarily disciplines managers by encouraging them to act in shareholders' best interests. However, it does not directly protect bondholders, who may still face risks from shareholder-driven decisions, such as increasing leverage after a takeover. Thus, A and B are correct. The agency problem is a conflict of interest that arises when one party, the agent, is expected to act in the best interest of another party, the principal, but has incentives to act in their own interest instead. The agency problem exists due to information asymmetry and diverging interests between principals and agents. The agent often has more knowledge about day-to-day operations and decision-making than the principal, making it difficult for the principal to monitor and control the agent's actions. Question 2. Which of the following statements is most correct? A. The ability of firms to engage in socially beneficial project that involves voluntary costs is constrained by competition and the need of firms to attract capital at low cost. B. The actions that maximize a firm's stock price are inconsistent with maximizing social welfare. C. The concepts of social responsibility and ethical responsibility on the part of corporations are completely different and neither is relevant in maximizing stock price. D. In a competitive market, if a group of firms do not spend resources making social welfare improvements, but another group does, in general, this will not affect the second group's ability to attract capital. The most correct answer is A. The ability of firms to engage in socially beneficial projects that involve voluntary costs is constrained by competition and the need of firms to attract capital at low cost. Firms operate in competitive markets where they must balance profitability with social responsibility. While engaging in socially beneficial projects can enhance reputation and brand value, excessive voluntary costs may reduce profitability and make the firm less attractive to investors. Firms must also attract capital at competitive rates, and investors often prioritize financial returns. Why the other options are incorrect. B. Is incorrect because actions that maximize stock price can align with social welfare, such as sustainable practices, corporate governance, and employee well-being. C. Is incorrect because social and ethical responsibilities are related concepts, and both can influence stock price through reputational risk and consumer preferences. D. Is incorrect because firms that engage in social responsibility may have a competitive edge in attracting investors who value ESG, environmental, social, and governance factors.